crackpot theories. I don't know. But I guess I don't understand why people are. I understand why people were, I guess, upset about about Snoke in the first movie, but I think people have to remember, if you go back to the original trilogy, you didn't even see the Emperor, really see the Emperor until Return of the Jedi, and he was only like a brief video in Empire Strikes Back, so I don't know why people were bellyaching about it.
Because this is a different universe, and sorry, not different, different generation. We have more of these sniveling millennials now who want answers to everything.
It's instant gratification is what they want.
And that's the joy about Star Wars, is that gradual build-up to, it's like climbing up a ladder. You're not going to get to the top of the ladder right away. You're going to gradually climb up to the top, and then you're going to fall off the edge.
It's amazing how that works with you.
Well, if you look at the original trilogy, it started off slow, kind of made its way to the peak, and then everybody fell off in the last one. So it's kind of the same aspect.
There is some talk that what happened with Return of the Jedi is everything kind of got rushed. If you talk to some of the people that helped George write the story, that it completely became muddled in the end. And part of it was that originally it was supposed to be 9 parts, and the original episodes 7 through 9 it was supposed to be in part Luke going to find his sister. Leia was not originally supposed to be his sister, and that's why
apparently she was supposed to be his lover.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were supposed to, tease the love triangle between the three of them, and then at the last minute...
Well, they should have continued it with Chewbacca.
Yeah, have you seen some of the pictures of Princess Leia and Chewbacca? I'm telling you, there's something going on there. I think we know who Ben's real father is. To be serious, but I mean, there was a plan of him going to another part of the galaxy to go off and to find his sister, and George, I don't remember the exact reason why, went off and he decided, nope, we're going to stop at 6, and so they completely changed the aspects of the whole story, and that is kind of why a lot of people were creeped out about the kisses between Leia and Luke in New Hope and the Empire Strikes Back, because it wasn't actually planned they were not supposed to be siblings at the beginning of it.
Well, it makes sense. I actually like that part because it was the whole... They had no clue who they were. So whether or not he changed the storyline is regardless. They had no clue who each other was. So her reaction to being saved, so to speak, I don't really classify her as being saved at any point.
She was the princess who saved herself.
Yeah, pretty much.
5 seconds after she gets rescued, she takes over her own rescue.
And in a way, the whole kiss was not so much,
okay,
it was out of spite.
The original kiss, which was on the cheek, was to give a motivation for good luck. You're right. The kiss that's in Empire Strikes Back was to go off and to get Han jealous, and
absolutely,
out of spite after some of the male chauvinist remarks he went off and he makes.
See, and what I find funny, and I have to bring this up because it is a very important fact. A lot of these people who are complaining about that one kiss are the same people who watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to talk too much about Game of Thrones. It's something I don't go off and watch. I don't even read the books anymore. And part of the reason for that is the sexual content that's in there. And
see, that's my favorite part because...
Of course that is, But, I mean, it's definitely... It's a little bit of a weird world because you go off and you look at it. People protest. Like, let's go down the rabbit hole. If you read the book, there is actually a scene where the girl goes off and has sex with all the other members of the losers. That, of course, never made it into the TV miniseries. That did not make it into the movie. People protest about that. And Stephen King's response to that was, I understand that, so why isn't people protesting a bunch of kids being murdered? And that sort of kind of tells you the world we live in, where it's people are getting do not accept sex, which I understand, but are perfectly fine with children being murdered.
See, yes and no. I look at it this way: if he had included that, that scene, they would have protested, that scene. So I think what it is people grasp onto this idea that, I can protest anything I want, and it's okay in the name of a protest. And I think that's what's wrong. That's why, so many movies don't make it to theater. Why, a lot of movies don't get made. Same with books and other things. Why things change so much is because people feel that they have this so-called right to whine and complain until something gets changed in their favor.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Okay, Bubbles is now joining us in our little communication area, our little chat zone, and is referred to us or you or me or someone as a pervert.
She's referred to me as a pervert because I like the whole sex scenes and all that in Game of Thrones. You get squeamish just looking at it.
I got some personal issues, so I gotta go off and I try to stay away from that stuff if I can. But I don't know. It's kind of, I don't even know where, I'm trying to pull myself back out of the rabbit hole because I don't actually remember where this is, why we ended up here.
We had no topic. We basically been kind of following.
We've been sort of been talking about Star Wars.
We were talking about Star Wars, but at the same point, when we were talking about the protesting about the scene in the book, if you go back, it kind of ties in with Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, God. Okay, you may not realize this. Jar Jar Binks appears in one of the new canon books for Star Wars, and he's actually a clown in a circus, and...
So he's Pennywise.
Okay, let's put it this way. It does get kind of creepy, so bear with me here. A young boy befriends him, and we find out that after the rise of the Empire, he was kind of blacklisted by everyone because he was very much responsible for Palpatine taking power, because he was the one who came out and says, hey, let's give him all the power. He thought at the time he was doing the right thing, and because of what happened, even though, it wasn't necessarily his fault, because he's not the one who went off and did all the votes. He just laid it out there, and everyone said, yeah, let's go for it. But he was the one who got blacklisted. We find out later he's in a circus, and he befriends a disfigured young boy. And we find out, at the end of the story, which I have not read, that they go off and become friends. So it's kind of creepy. And some people will go back and, suggest that maybe... he is still like a dark lord, and he's going to teach, this young boy the ways of the dark side or something.
But that also ties in with the fact that Jar Jar Binks became, kind of friends with Anakin. So
I know he's kind of eternally a child, and it's kind of sad because Jar Jar is hated by everyone, including his own people. But then again, he was the Gungan who was banished from his home because he was clumsy.
Was he clumsy, or was there something sinister to him?
And if you want to go off and know more about that, you're going to have to go back and listen to one of our previous episodes. You know what? I'm going to cut in here because we could keep talking forever. We're going to take a break so I can drink a little bit more Red Bull. So sit back, listen to our middle song, whatever you want to call it, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mascaz show. And name me to your question, I think I vaguely know who Brian Brushwood is. I have a bunch of stuff on my Twitter. I don't know if I'm following him or somebody that he knows, but I guess I shared his status today, quoted his status today, and all that, and yeah. So I know a lot of different people on Twitter. I follow a lot of different people. I get followed by a lot of people. So it gets really complicated to know who is who, but I do know the reference of what you're talking about now. And yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Okay.
So I guess back to our story.
Back to our story. I know. I think we'll just.
How about we go into the most important question? What do you expect for the next one? Because I my first initial thought was that Star Wars was coming out this December. Now it's not, right?
Well, there's no Star Wars is coming out this December.
I thought they were moving it to a different date, or am I?
No, they're going to. I think at one point they were planning to do movies around May, but I think they're, continuously just doing all the movies, be on Christmas because it's a good time. Incidentally, the talk is that the final trailer, or what they're saying is the final trailer, for Star Wars: The Last Jedi will be coming out sometime next week. If I go off and I see that, I'll make sure to post that on both our Facebook and our Twitter, because I'll probably end up watching it like 1,000 times anyways.
I'll probably be watching it multiple times, analyzing it, and all that. Because that's my favorite part to do, is analyze the trailers. Because they usually put little, Easter eggs in there.
I would love to go off and to take the two trailers and watch them back to back and try to get as much out of them as possible. I do think we are definitely going to see... I guess the easiest way to go off and to say is, there's the dark and the light, and then there's the one in the middle, the Bindu. And I really feel like that's where I think Luke was leading to, where the Jedi had to be gone, because there could not continuously be a balance of the Force if there was the dark and the light. And so to go off and to embrace the middle, which allows you to go off and use both sides of the Force.
The gray Jedi, so to speak.
The gray Jedi. I mean, there no longer is gray Jedi. Now they refer to it as kind of the Bindu, the one in the middle. And I think that's sort of where we're going to see Luke go off, and when he eventually agrees to train Rey, I believe that's what his plan is going to be. If you see, if we go back to The Force Awakens, we see that both Rey and Ben, Kylo Ren, whatever you want to call, are both in tune with both sides of the Force. That's what got Snoke very interested in Ben Skywalker, or Ben Solo, pardon me. And
see, my biggest thing is, do you think that Kylo Ren will start switching more to the light side than he is the dark side?
From what I understand, and if you watch the original trailer, there is a smashed helmet. At first, when I saw it, I thought that he had smashed what was left of Darth Vader's helmet. That is actually his helmet. And so from what I understand, he is actually going to be even darker in this movie. Now, whether this means that we're going to see some sort of redemption when we get to Episode 9, I don't know. But I do expect him to be darker. I do, from everything I've read about this, a large part, at least in the early part of the movie, is Rey, discovering the old phrase, you never meet your heroes. Luke Skywalker's her hero, and she goes to meet him, and pretty much it sounds as if he does not want to go off and train her because he does not believe there should be any more Jedi. Then eventually does go off and decides to train her. And this is not the Luke Skywalker that she has heard about and as,
I think a lot of it is guilt. Because, from what we saw from The Force Awakens, the little clips that they showed, that he was, there for this great fight.
And so there is there's more to it. There's been talk about who the chosen one is. People assumed that it was Anakin Skywalker who's the chosen one, and to bring balance to the Force. And I don't know where the source material is on this, but apparently Yoda went off and told